Hi, it's time for shared reading. Each week we'll be doing a shared reading over one of the stories in your book. If you will get your reading book and turn to the story Joaquin's Zoo on page 176. I'll wait just a minute so you have time to get your book. When we do shared reading, I will be reading the book just like we do in class, and you will be reading along with me. And we'll do some stop and thinks during our reading because we know it's important to make connections while we read. Good, strong readers read the text, stop and think about the text, and make connections while they read. So if you need to take some time to hit pause so that you can get your book 5, and turn to page 176 for Joaquin's Zoo. Go ahead and hit pause if you need to, and then hit play again, and we'll start our shared reading lesson. Thank you. All right. So before we get started reading Joaquin's Zoo, I want to talk to you a little bit about our anchor chart for today's lesson. We will be doing the characters anchor chart. And when we think about characters and we're making those good connections, we want to think about who. What's the question? Who? Characters are the people, animals, or things that a story is about. Look for clues in the words, and you also want to look for clues in the pictures to get to know more about the characters. What? What's the other question we ask about characters? What? Do we describe what characters look like and what they think, feel, say, and do, what actions they take in the story? All right, the last question we want to be able to ask about characters is why? What do we want to ask? Why? We want to be able to, after reading about what the characters do and thinking about who the characters are, what they look like, how they think, they feel, what they say and do, we want to be able to tell why. Why do we think they did what they do in the story? So today's focus for our shared reading lesson is going to be on characters. In the story, Joaquin's Zoo, everybody on page 176, we're about to get started. In the story, Joaquin's Zoo, you're going to find that the main character is a very clever boy. He's also a very creative boy named Joaquin. I've already told you a little bit about him, haven't I? As we read the story, I want you to be able to tell me what Joaquin looks like, what Joaquin says, what Joaquin does, and also how Joaquin feels throughout the story. By the end of the story, using all of these things we've learned about Joaquin, I want you to be able to tell me, I think Joaquin worked so hard to make 10 animals. Ooh, there's that big thought bubble. Because, so by the end of the story, after you've analyzed the character of Joaquin and the actions he takes in the story, you're going to be able to tell me why he does those actions. All right. So if you are looking at page 176 on Prepare to Read, it says, fantasy stories have made up events that could not really happen. We should look for characters who are not real, a setting, or where and when the story happens. And we've already set our purpose. Our purpose is to analyze the character. Some power words you can look for are build, scraps, neat, golden, and usually. All right, are we ready? Get that tracking finger out. When you track, you're going to want to run your finger underneath the words that we're reading. Do your best to read the words. Most of the words are sight words or high frequency words, or they're words that you can quickly decode. If you do not know a word, just listen for the word I say and then continue reading on with me. Try your best. I know you can do it. Joaquin's Zoo by Pablo Bernasconi. Turn the page. Ready? Joaquin is a clever boy. One day he woke up and had a great idea. Today I'm going to build something, he thought. Okay, I want you to stop right there and I want you to look at this page. We said the main character is Joaquin. I want you to go ahead and look at Joaquin, and then I want you to describe him either to me or to someone close by. I want you to use the sentence stem, Joaquin looks. Go ahead and tell me. Look at the picture, look at the illustration, think about what he looks like, and use some great words to describe. Joaquin looks. Go ahead. Great job. I would say Joaquin looks like a boy who is about your age. Joaquin looks like he's got curly hair. He wears glasses. He looks like he's pretty serious. He's thinking. All right, let's read the next page. Tracking finger underneath the word I'll. Oh, I see quotation marks. That means he's speaking. I'll use scraps to make 10 animals to keep me company. Okay, I want you to look at the last two pages we just read, and I want you to use the sentence stem, Joaquin says. When we analyze characters, we want to look at what characters say. So go ahead and look back at those two pages and please tell me, what does Joaquin say? Joaquin says, what does he say he's going to do? Excellent. You're right. Joaquin says, I'm going to build something today. And then he starts talking about his plan. He says, I'm going to use scraps and I'm going to make animals. Good job. Good thinking. All right, turn the page. Ready? You should be on page 180. It looks like this. Joaquin spent day and night in his shop. After a lot of hard work, he finished all the animals. All right, I want you to stop right there. Think very hard. We're going to read that one more time. Ready? Joaquin spent day and night in his shop. After a lot of hard work, he finished all the animals. What does Joaquin do? Joaquin does, go ahead, think about it and tell me what Joaquin does. You're right. That is excellent thinking. You are so very smart. You're a great reader. And part of that great reading is thinking about what you read and explaining it. You're right. What Joaquin does is he does work very hard. He works so hard all day and all night. He's really determined, isn't he? He works so hard that what Joaquin does is he finishes all 10 animals. Wow. I love the pages that are coming up next. It's going to tell us and show us what the animals that he made looks like. So go ahead and put your finger under the word he and read along with me. I see lots of great sight words. I know that you know. I want to hear your super strong reading. He built a hippo out of a cheese grater. Even though he eats all day, he never gains any weight. Oh, he's so creative. A feather duster and 2 twigs make up this silly guy. He has messy hair and he isn't very neat. Oh, look, so he came up with animals that have different characteristics. Like this one's a hippo that never gains weight, and this is a silly, messy feather duster. Okay, turn the page. Oh, he's named this one. This one's name is Enrique. Put your finger under the word that starts with a capital E. The word is Enrique. Ready? Enrique the mouse calls from an old phone. He goes ring when he laughs. You can hear his sound from far, far away. This lion with a golden mane is named Teodoro. He is very tame. In this jungle, he is king. Look at those animals. Joaquin is like you. He's very creative. He's got a great imagination. Okay, next one. Put your finger under the word he's. Ready? He's made up of veggies. No one knows his real name. So he's called Mr. Avocado. His feet are very fragile. Oh, remember, fragile means it could be easily broken. There's Mr. Avocado. This alarm clock is made from a clock and a horn. It sings in the morning like an early rising rooster. You see it? Ready? Bortolo, the rabbit, is made from a lamp and 2 wheels. He's usually in a bad mood, so he's always alone. This word is Verulana. Verulana, the bird, is round and very light. He's black as night, so you can't see him when he flies through the dark. So when we said Joaquin does, and we said Joaquin does work hard all day and night to make the animals, we could also say, now we know a little bit more about the animals. We could also say Joaquin does make 10 animals, and Joaquin does have a huge imagination, and Joaquin does get very creative with his artwork. We know more about him as a character now that we've read about his animals that he made. We realize how creative and imaginative he is. This elephant has a French horn for a trunk. He's loud when he sings, and I won't even tell you how loud he is when he snores. Joaquin worked and worked to put together this giraffe. He used a crane to finish it and a ladder to comb its unruly hair. All right, now we're reading together on the next page. I want you to put your finger under the word Joaquin, and I want you to start to think about how Joaquin feels. We're going to analyze how he feels as a character now that we've learned all about his animals he created. Joaquin is happy when he finishes. He has 10 new friends in his garden. All right, turn the page. His dream of inventing has come true. Now they all live together under the same roof. All right, I want you to think for a little bit on the last 2 pages, and I want you to tell me, Joaquin feels. How does Joaquin feel now that he's finished making the animals? Go ahead, Joaquin feels. Wow, you are just one of the smartest kids that I know. That was an amazing answer. You're right. Joaquin feels happy. He feels happy, and you know, his dream came true. So he is also probably very proud of himself, just like I hope that you're proud of yourself for all this hard work you're doing at home. All right, now here's the big one. Are you ready? It's time for a big stop and think. Do the stop and think. I've got my little light bulb because I want you to stop and think really hard. This is a big question. We said when we analyze characters, we thought about the who, that was Joaquin, and we thought about what he looks like, what he says, what he does, and what he feels. You've been able to explain all of those things to me about the character of Joaquin. You've done a fantastic job. Now, Super Smarties, it's time for our stop and think. You've got to think about the why. Why did Joaquin do all of the things that he did? That's kind of a big question, isn't it? But I know you can do it because you're so super smart and you're such a great thinker. So I want you to stop, look back over the story, think about what Joaquin looks like, says, what he does, how he feels. I want you to get that big idea inside of your brain and hold it there. You're going to be able to use the sentence stem. I think Joaquin worked so hard to make 10 animals because. I want you to be able to tell me, why did he do all the things he did? That's the word because, right? My favorite word. Because means that you're thinking really hard and you're having to explain that good thinking. That's why it's my favorite word. Okay, I'll give you a minute to do your stop and think. Hope you get your little light bulb idea going. Okay, are you ready to share your idea? Go ahead and tell me. Use this sentence stem. I think Joaquin worked so hard to make 10 animals because. Wow, that is some wonderful thinking. And you know what's great about when we say I think, it's using the connections that you made, what you saw the character do, what you know about the character, and also what you know from the real world. So whatever you think, as long as it makes sense, is a great answer. You could have said, I think Joaquin worked so hard to make 10 animals because he enjoys being creative and he wanted some new things in his home. You could have said, I think Joaquin worked so hard to make 10 animals because maybe he was a little bored and he wanted something fun to do. I think Joaquin worked so hard to make 10 animals because maybe he felt a little lonely. I noticed he was the only character in the book. All of those answers would have made sense. I stopped. I thought about what I knew about Joaquin, and I explained my thinking and my reasoning, and I connected it to the story. That's what's important when we do a stop and think. That's what's important when we analyze characters. So, you did a great job with shared reading with me. You learned how to, or reviewed how to analyze characters, and you can do this with any character. Any main character of the book, you can use their name and talk about what they look like, say, do, and feel, and why you think they did what they did. And the reason we want to do that is to help us have better comprehension. We're going to be able to better understand what we read when we analyze and think about the characters that we're reading about. I am so proud of you guys. You did an excellent job with our shared reading this week. Keep reading, keep working hard, keep learning. Bye.